Hey guys, welcome to Picture Book Drama, where it is everything in entertainment. I am your host, Sean, your video and comic guru. This is going to be, as you can see, my Civil War review. This is building up to the Captain America Civil War miniseries, so I just wanted to give you my thoughts on the miniseries, how it may differ from Captain America Civil War, the movie, and where we went from there. So stay tuned. Hey guys, how you doing? This is part one of a three-part Civil War miniseries review. This is my way of leading us up to the Captain America Civil War movie that's going to be debuting this week. Yes, that's right. We finally get to see Spider-Man on the big screen. Hopefully done right. From everything I've been told, he will be done right. But what got us there is this miniseries back here. I mean, this changed everything for Marvel Comics. Marvel was kind of floundering again. They didn't know what to do with characters, so when in doubt, create a crisis and everything will be retconned out of existence. Actually, a lot of stuff that happened in here got retconned out. Spider-Man. But to stick with issue, I'm going to be doing a review on this part of issue 1 and 2. Issue 1 is basically the catalyst that gets everything going. I mean, this issue opens up with the New Warriors who have fallen on some hard times. Actually, the New Warriors used to be one of my favorite comics out, still is, the original series. But you get to see that they now are part of a reality TV show. They are actually now being filmed fighting crime. And this particular one, they're going to take out a house full of what's considered low-level supervillains, people that you really hadn't heard of that much. But in this, New Warriors that has Night Thrasher, Namorita, Sweetball, a couple other characters that just don't matter. They end up taking on this house full of supervillains, and for the most part, they're actually doing a good job. They're actually, taking them down. But then Namorita starts fighting Nitro, who is a Captain Marvel villain, who is not a low-level villain. This is one of the big hitters right here, and he makes his point known. They're fighting, the house that they're fighting on happens to live right across the street from a school. And during this fight with Nitro, Nitro says, you think you faced people like me before? You've never faced anyone like me, and blows up. That's his power. He explodes. He sets off a nitron bomb, and basically just wipes out the whole city, killing off not just civilian men and women, but a whole school full of kids. Turns out they killed about 1,000 people, 2/3 of which were kids. So next thing you see is the Avengers cleaning up the debris. We find out that all this stuff was televised live, that all this stuff was seen on TV, and these people, and I could be wrong. If I am, please let me know if this was actually viewed by people that happened. I think it did. I'm going to relook at this, and if I am wrong, I'll even put it down here. But this that's how you start? You kill off a bunch of kids? I mean, holy moly. And I'm trying not to swear. I want this to be kid-friendly. I want kids to be able to see this as well. But again, the next thing you see is Captain America and Iron Man and all the Avengers clearing the debris, and you can tell that they even know this is not going to end well. It's not going to be an isolated event that is unavoidable. This could have been avoided. And speaking of which, we see the funeral for all these people, and I'm not sure why Tony Stark decided he was going to go, because it was, with everything being so hot, he should not have gone, but it's a way to get the story going. And basically one of the parents of the kids even goes up to Tony Stark and say, how dare you? What the hell are you doing here? And spits in his face. Like, you were responsible for this. And that kind of resonates in Tony Stark's, mind. Like, yeah, we are the problem. Well, you get to see all these superheroes coming together, and they're trying to figure out, like, what happens next. We know that the president is involved now. They're going to want to register us. They're going to want us to reveal our identities Some people are for it, some people are against it. One of the people against it is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is known for his secret identity, not no one knowing who he is. And Daredevil, of all people, starts to say this is something that's been coming. We fight outside the law, and we should know that eventually something really bad is going to turn them against us. Well, that was it. We get to see Maria Hill now talking to Captain America, talking about how they have to be regulated, they have to be contained and controlled, and they can't just go off on their own and do what they want. The government wants to police them. They want them to reveal their identities. They want them to sign a superhero registration act saying that they will not do anything without the permission of the president or SHIELD. And SHIELD is going to be the one who's going to regulate them. Well, Maria Hill is now the director of SHIELD. Nick Fury has been taken out. He's gone. He's not doing anything anymore. And we get to see that Steve Rogers, who is Captain America, doesn't like it. He's like, hey, we cannot register heroes. We can't make them do this. They're fighting the good fight on their own, putting their lives on the line. We have to respect that. Well, Maria Hill said, fuck that. Excuse my language. I know I want you to be kid friendly. But she's like, no, you're going to do what we say. If you're not with us, you're against us. And gets a whole bunch of SHIELD agents to turn their weapons on Captain America. It's Captain America. But, Captain America is trying to reason with him. It's like, you don't want to do this. And Maria, it's like, we're not talking anymore. Take him down. They're going to tranquilize him. She's even like, tranquilize him. Well, he's Captain America, so he gets out of it. He fights his way through it. In beautiful Captain America style. The art in this book, Steve Niven, is amazing. This kinetic flow that he has in here is great. And Captain America ends up escaping on top of a jet. It's beautiful. The last page of this book is of the president talking to a room full of people. We don't see the people yet, but he's saying how Captain America's on a loose, that he's now a fugitive and that he has to be apprehended. People need to know that superheroes are with them, not against them. And then you suddenly see someone else start talking about, we understand, Mr. President, I think I know what needs to be done. And you see that the president is talking to Iron Man. And Iron Man's with Hank Pym, I believe Mr. Fantastic's there. I mean, it's basically friends against friends now. There's really no super villain to the book except whose side you take, which is kind of where I guess the Captain America Civil War comic or movie is going to be going. Is who do you feel is right? Is Captain America right by saying you can't regulate us, you can't force people to reveal their identities and work for you exclusively, or do you side with Iron Man, who believes that if we keep going off on our own, we will cause more damage, more harm than good? That's the first issue. We get kids being killed. We got Captain America on the run. Superheroes are divided. Now Iron Man is going to be going after Captain America just hardcore. But we immediately get into issue number 2, which to me is the greatest issue out of all of them, where you get to see the ramifications of what happened. It opens up where you get this news flash of people saying, are you for or against it? You have it where they're talking about how superheroes are fighting each other, and you quickly go to a scene of the Patriot, who is the leader of the Young Avengers, which is another one of my favorite Marvel comics, at least the original run, not the new one, but the original run, is trying to outrun someone, and we find out that it's the police, or SHIELD, I should say, chasing him down, trying to get him to stop, to turn himself in, because he's been fighting crime unregistered. So he's jumping from rooftop to rooftop to try to avoid him, and they finally end up apprehending him, throwing him into a van with what we see is the rest of the Young Avengers. They end up being taken to what is supposed to be a superhero prison, but we find out that that truck had actually been taken over by Daredevil, Hawkeye, and Cable. They are a part of Captain America's underground resistance. So now they've recruited the Young Avengers to help them out because, hey, you're either with us or you're with the people who just tried to arrest you. So we get to see that the division has already happened. That it's been a little while since issue number 1. Captain America is now a fugitive of the law. Iron Man is now the face of Superhero Registration Act. This is where we get the Avengers Initiative, where you get registered Avengers on one team, and then you get the Secret Avengers, which is Captain America's team, on another side. I mean, this is just, it's such a fast pace going into it that we don't even go to the point of the Registration Act being signed and everything else. Here we get it, it's happening. Now it's hero against hero, you know, just fantastic, quick paced storytelling. And again, great art by Steve Niven. But we see that the Human Torch is in the hospital. Mr. Fantastic is working on something, we're not quite sure what, but he's so distracted he can't really talk to his wife Sue. So she kind of leaves to go to the hospital to see Johnny, but she can tell something's up. Now, I said I wasn't going to talk about any of the crossovers, but in this case I kind of have to, because it's what leads to this jaw-dropping ending of this second part, and that is Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man is the only book in crossovers that I will touch on. I mean, these were great. I really did like these because this showed a building of a relationship with Tony Stark and Peter Parker, who in my opinion always should have been paired together, because they're the same. Only difference is Tony Stark's rich, Peter Parker's not. Both are scientists, both are geniuses, both built their own suits. They have that bond, they can understand one another. And Peter Parker looks at Tony Stark like a father figure, which I think is going to be something that's going to carry forward into the Civil War movie. But in the Amazing Spider-Man comics, from issue, I think, 529 all the way to 534, we get to see that relationship build and fall apart. And by fall apart, I mean you'll see that in other reviews. Not gonna tell you now. But we see that Tony Stark gives Peter Parker a job. He brings his Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and MA into the new Avengers tower to live there because they'd be safe. And he basically convinces Peter Parker to do something he never ever would have done. One thing I liked is how they did this is the way that the storytelling was done in the art. You get to suddenly see all these other superheroes watching TV and all these different people like, you know, J. Jonah Jameson at the Daily Bugle watching this press conference led by Tony Stark, talking about the Superhero Registration Act, what they want to do, how they want to gain the people's trust again, and that they can't do that behind masks, and we want to prove that we are here for you. And to do that, he introduces Spider-Man. Well, people are like, what the hell is Spider-Man doing here? Spider-Man's really known for being a menace, even though he has been working with the Avengers for probably for a few months by that point. Maybe a few years, it's hard to tell the timeline, but in that, we see Spider-Man come to the podium. He begins to talk about how he supports Tony Stark in the Registration Act, and that he does believe that to be a hero, you cannot be feared, and that you must work with the law. And to do that, he can't do it behind a mask. So he does the unthinkable, and Spider-Man reveals his identity live on TV to the world. Now, the greatest reaction in this is J. Jonah Jameson, because in one panel we see him kind of leaning forward, looking into the monitor, saying, hey, we're finally going to see who he is. And when he finds out it's Peter Parker, man, passes out. The next panel you see, he's gone. He hit the floor. Fantastic. And that even has ramifications later on, because Peter Parker ends up, but I'll tell you in the next part. We're going to end it on that one. We're going to end it with Spider-Man revealing his identity to the world and what will be the ramifications for everyone else because of it. Stay tuned for my second part of my Civil War miniseries. Till then, I am Sean, your video and comic guru. Hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Twitter. I'm also on Tumblr. I'm going to be trying to get myself set up on Behance. I have a website that started. It's not done at the time of taping this, but hopefully by the time I do drop this, it will be up. And if so, I'll put a link down here as well. But until then, I'm Sean, your video and comic guru. Catch you guys in the second part. Peace.